Hi, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate you spending some time with us because today we want to talk about a real estate platform that is completely changing the real estate industry, especially as how it relates to agents being compensated. Well, what does that mean? Well, my guess is, or when I talk to agents, my goal is to be able to take and show them how they can put themselves in the best possible position to make as much money as they can, working as few hours as possible. Now, I think every real estate platform that you look at, platform meaning real estate brokerage, you should really look at a few things. Number one, what is your ability to maximize the amount of money that you can earn in the least amount of time? What kind of tools are they providing? What kind of training is available? And how much time do their systems allow you to free up so that you can spend time on revenue producing activities? So today I want to talk about the EXP Realty platform and how it can help you achieve all of those things. As you're watching this, one thing that I'd like you to consider is that my goal for every agent that we work with is that over the next period of, let's say, 3 to 5 years, is that we can put you in a position where 80% of your income comes from passive income, meaning where you work you've done in the past that you keep getting paid for over and over again, and 20% coming from closed real estate transactions. So with that, let's get started. First, EXP is not a franchise. It is a national brokerage, and we don't have franchise fees, we don't have royalties, we don't have brick and mortar buildings, we don't sell franchises. What that means to you as an agent, we don't have all these layers of people that have to be paid so that the money can be taken and paid to the agents instead of all the franchisees and such, right? Number two, we work from a cloud-based campus. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means that you literally push a button to be able to take and communicate with people at work, which means you can work from anywhere. There are no desk fees. There's no expensive leases. There's none of that. Everything we do is paperless because it's designed to maximize the efficiency for the agent. This is what the cloud-based community looks like. Well, what does that mean? Well, there's over 300 full-time people working in the cloud to help our agents, whether it's training, whether it's onboarding, whether you have a question with accounting, you have broker questions. Literally, folks, instead of getting dressed, driving to your office in a car to talk to somebody, you click a button and you get your problem resolved. The best example I can give you is, let's say you get a virus on your computer and you don't know what to do. You can go into the cloud, have our tech support people take control of your computer to fix it so that you're not spending hours trying to figure it out, or worse yet, bringing it to like Real Geeks or whatever and having them, having to spend a few $100s to fix something. If you have a question for your broker, you can go in the cloud. All of our training classes are done in the cloud. No spending an hour getting ready and then a half hour, 45 minutes in traffic. All of those things, folks, are designed to give you more time to spend on what I refer to as RPAs, revenue producing activities. If you could save, let's say, 5 hours a week, 20 hours a month, because you're not in your car driving to an office and you're not having to get up and get dressed to get your business done, well, if you could spend 20 additional hours every month on, let's say, calling and following up on your leads or your sphere of influence, or calling for sale by owners, or expired listings, can we agree you'd make a lot more money? Well, that's what I mean by building leverage. And what the cloud does, well, it's very cool to look at. It literally allows you to be face-to-face with people who can help you. No leaving voicemails, no, waiting for email responses. You go into the cloud and you get what you need and you're done. So it's a very cool system for us to be able to take and do that. Probably the most important thing, I believe, for most agents is that we have an online tech support people. We have people, when you have problems with technology, which so many agents do, you have a resource that you can go in and they can handle your problem for you so you get it done and you're on your way out to spend time on those RPAs, right? We have live training, over 20 hours of live training every single week. Now, there's some technical training, but we also have people on there like Brent Gove and Jeff and Marcy Willems and Darren James, all some of the top producers in the United States or Canada out there teaching classes on how they take more listings and how they do the things they do. I mean, Darren James closes about 40 to 60 listings a month. Wouldn't you want to learn how to take listings from him instead of some broker who hasn't taken a listing in a few years? And so everything that we do is live, which allows you to take and be efficient in the time that you spend. Now, the other thing is, because we don't have brick and mortar offices, we do have a contract with Regis Office Suites where you can go in and use their facilities to take and meet people, to work, to get out of the house and do all that. And the cool part is you can do that anywhere in the world. You have access to that. So at the end of the day, if in fact you feel the need to get out of the house to do that, great, go to a Regis Office Suite. I also encourage you for business reasons to spend a day or two a week in a coffee shop where you become a regular visitor to the coffee shop. Because, folks, that's where people are out in place that you can find business, right? So I'm not a big advocate of having a real estate office that you go into because, well, when you go in there, is another agent going to give you a listing or a buyer? Let's get you out in the community. And the reason I love Regis Office Suites, it's all small business owners who have employees and vendors and contacts that you can begin to develop relationships with. So I encourage you to take and go into Regis and start working in there a couple, 3 days a week because you're around people who can refer business to you or, in fact, do business with you. Now, what kind of technology and tools are available? Well, production matters at EXP. I know we hear a lot, well, it's not our primary focus. I pretty much can tell you by the end of 2018, we're going to be ranked number one for brokerages across the United States in many, many, many categories, including the number of transaction increase, close volume, all those other things. And the reason is, folks, all of our agents have access to conversion. Conversion is a very high-powered lead generation in CRM system. It's so high-powered, it's ridiculously expensive. It's $1,000 setup and $500 a month. At EXP, our agents get access to that for $50 a month instead of $500. And every day, well, I shouldn't say every day of the week in the class, but we have at least 3 classes a week in the cloud on how to maximize and optimize your use of conversion. We want our agents generating leads in their business, right? It's the lifeblood of all leads. And then to have a CRM to follow up with is critical, right? It's not so much that you get the leads. If you don't follow up with them, you got to turn them into business, right? There's a reason conversion is so expensive because it's that powerful. Wouldn't you rather pay $50 a month for it instead of $500? All of the marketing and branding. We have a complete marketing and branding department so that you don't have to mess with those kinds of things, right? We encourage every real estate agent to treat their real estate career like a business. So do you know your numbers? How many transactions did you close in the last year? What was the GCI? What expenses did you have? Well, the cool part is our EXP Enterprise system takes and captures all that for you. So running your real estate business like a business has never been easier. And so EXP Enterprise is something you can access literally from your phone and be able to take and keep yourself up to date on where you're at in your transactions, what you've got coming in terms of pay, what you've been paid, what your equity awards are, and a whole series of things. Treat your business like a business. SkySlope is what we utilize to take and use paperless transactions. No more hanging onto paper files, none of that. You can literally take and write a contract, send it to somebody via email, they digitally sign it, and everything is handled online. It's the coolest thing. For those of us who've been around for a long time, go back to the old days of faxing contracts over and everything, it's amazing how efficient SkySlope can make you. Then we have a workplace edition of Facebook just for EXP. There's literally probably 100 different groups in there, some of them by state. They're referral groups. Folks, I urge you to jump in, join some of those groups, especially all the referral groups. I probably see 3 to 5 posts a day in email for people looking to refer agents across the country or across into Canada. So it's a very powerful tool for staying connected for referrals and other things that are going on. But let's take a look at our business model. This is where everybody gets really excited. First, let's go through the money. Every EXP agent is on an 80-20 split that caps at $16,000, meaning once you pay $16,000, you go to a 100% plan. Now, once you do that, for the remainder of that anniversary year, every time you close a transaction, instead of paying a 20% split, it's $250. So you're on a 100% split after that. Then if you were to take and close an additional 20 transactions, it would drop to $75. But if you actually hit that, you become what we call an icon agent, and I'll explain that in a minute. Our standard startup costs are $149. That includes the first month technology fee. We have a $30 to $35 a month university fee. That's what we call the fee for running the cloud. That's what pays for all the salaries of all the staff and those types of things. It's a $25 broker review fee and a $40 risk management fee. After this call, I encourage you to jump or to stay on this call, and let's actually take and overlay your income at your existing real estate platform, your brokerage, and put it over the EXP model and put all your splits, fees, everything at your company. Let's match that up to the EXP model and see where you make more money. Fair enough? So we'll do that after this call. The exciting part of EXP, where everybody gets really excited, and this is the passive income part. All of us who've been doing real estate for any length of time have had people come up to us or have had agents come up to us and go, hey, what do you think of EXP? Do you like that? I'm thinking of making a switch. We've all had that happen, right? Well, if that happens to you and an agent says that to you and you say, hey, I love EXP, and they join the company, every agent at EXP has to be invited to the company. They just don't get to show up. They have to be invited. If you invite an agent to join EXP, you're able to receive up to $2,800 annually for each agent that you would introduce. Well, where does that money come from? Well, remember the $16,000 cap? That's where it comes from. So EXP is willing to take the revenue that comes into the company and pay it back to the agents to help the company grow. That's a pretty cool system, right? Well, how do they do that? Well, we don't have all the brick and mortar overhead of a traditional real estate company. We don't have franchises. We don't have franchise fees. We don't have any of the traditional expenses that a typical real estate company has. We have employees that work in the cloud, and that's our expense that we pay with the university fee. So if you invite an agent into the company and they do $80,000, you'll receive up to $2,800 from that year, and that happens over and over again. So let's say you invite a new agent in, they make $80,000 in their first 3 months, they go to 100%, you'd have received $2,800. For the remainder of their anniversary year, while they're at 100%, you're not getting any additional overrides. Once they flip over to their new anniversary date, they move back to an 80-20 split, and you go back to receiving the $2,800. Pretty awesome, right? It allows you to take and build a passive income while you're going about the business of real estate. Now, let me be very clear here. The best way in order to take and invite an agent, in my opinion, is to be out there doing transactions. And you'll know whether an agent did a good job or a bad job. Let's invite the great agents to the company and leave the other agents for others. Fair enough? Because if you'll take and invite agents and get paid up to $2,800 per year, the question is, how many agents would you invite? It's a real simple process. If I was at closing, I would go, hey, Bob, you did a great job. Let me ask you, how is an awesome agent like you not at EXP, where you have the ability to take and build your income over the next 3 to 5 years and have 80% of it come from passive activities and 20% from closings? I'd love to have coffee with you and explain how that works. It's that simple, folks. Then you have them watch this video. It actually gets way better than that, because we also have the ability that if the agent that you invited to the company does exactly the same thing, that you actually get a fee based on that up to $3,200. So let's say that you talk to me and I join EXP. I make $80,000 a year. You've gotten paid $2,800. But I go and talk to Susie, and Susie joins EXP. Well, I'm going to get $2,800, but you're going to get paid up to $3,200 a year. And it works like that for 7 tiers deep. Pretty cool, right? Now, I want to make sure that one thing is clear. This is not based on profit. This is based on revenue. I'm going to ask you to make a business decision at some point, and the question becomes, would you rather have a piece of profit, the money left after paying all the expenses, or would you rather have revenue that's the money before expenses? Now, in order to unlock those tiers, you would just simply have to invite a certain number of agents. So if you want to get paid the full amount on that second tier, invite 5 agents to the company. Get paid on the third tier, 10 agents. To get paid on the fourth tier, invite 15 agents. Now, that doesn't have to be done in a day, week, month, or a year. I'll teach you a very simple plan that if over the next 5 years you simply invited 10 agents into EXP, and we help those 10 invite and do exactly the same thing, your passive income would be almost $350,000 a year by inviting 10 agents to EXP. We can cover that at a separate time. Now, the other thing that's also critically important is that EXP agents are owners. EXP is publicly traded on the NASDAQ exchange, right? That happened in 2018, very exciting. And so what happens is on your first transaction, you get shares of stock. When you cap, you get shares of stock. When an agent that you invited to the company joins EXP and closes their first deal, you get stock free. If you if you become the icon agent that I talked about before, where you did an additional 20 transactions, The way that works is you cap plus 20 transactions or $500,000 GCI. The $16,000 that you paid into EXP in cash is given back to you in stock. This is a huge incentive to big producers or big teams coming in the door because people are becoming very wealthy from getting free stock at EXP. And then we also have what we call the Agent Equity Program, where you can take 5% of your commission from every transaction and you can buy the stock at a 20% discount. So instead of paying some brokerage a royalty so that somebody else gets rich, we believe it's important that you should be able to take and help yourself get rich. Buying our stock at a 20% discount is a great way to do that. So what I'd like to do at this point is schedule a time and let's compare your earnings where you're at, and then I can answer any questions for you. What I'd like to do is take and simply look at the income that you made over the past 12 months, put that income over the EXP structure, and see which way you made the most amount of money. So thanks for being here today. If you're watching this as a recording, please feel free to reach out to the person that invited you to watch this. We'll schedule a time to do that call, and let's see how much more money you can do, and let's talk about what kind of career we can help you build. Remember, my goal for you would be to have 80% of your income coming in from passive activities and 20% from closed transactions. How fast you do that is going to be completely up to you, but I'd love to be there to help you. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you soon.